everybody, this is the Sliders Review. I'm here today to talk about Black History Month. The month that is a celebration of my people, because I am a black man and everything. And it's about all our accomplishments, all the oppression that we have gone through over like centuries of living in like America and stuff like that. And even till this day, we are still being oppressed. And so I'm here today to talk to you about certain characters or TV shows or episodes that revolve around Black History Month that I personally enjoy. So I'm here today to talk to you about Sister Sister Season 1, Episode 1, the pilot, The Meeting. I love Sister Sister. It was one of my all-time favorite shows growing up. Like, I remember just watching like ABC as part of the TGI Friday lineup. TGI Friday was one of the best things that ever happened in the 90s. Like, on Friday nights, you stay home and you watch ABC. You watch your sitcoms. Now, Friday is designated as the Friday night death slot. And the bad thing is like, sadly, they tried to like bring back the TGI Friday thing, but like on Wednesday nights, it worked because there was a lot of good comedies on Wednesday nights. But you know, it just wasn't the same, man. The new comedies just aren't as good as like the old ones. And the cool thing about this show was that not only was it like a predominantly black cast, not only was it funny, not only did it bring two TV legends back into like the 90s fold, but the show revolved around two twins, two very beautiful twins and everything. I remember I had a huge crush on them growing up, boy. It was funny. I had two twin friends in college and stuff. I don't know, twins just aren't as special as they are like on TV. But they do that whole like thing where they like constantly like, you know, be around each other. Um they don't really dress alike. The ones that I knew, they kind of did, but they were always hovering around each other until one got a boyfriend and the other one didn't. Then I knew this other set of twins that didn't like being twins and tried everything they could to look different from each other and stuff. And so, like, you know, with this show, it was so cool to see like Jack Cave back because I remember her from 227, boy. And she was just as good in this as she was in that. Now, Tim Reed, I had no idea like who he was and stuff, but he's a famous actor from back in I think like 70s or 80s or something like that. I think he was in a show called Taxi, I think. I'm not really sure and stuff. But I do remember Roger. Roger was cool. He was the one always hitting on the twins, trying to get a date. They all were like, "Go home, Roger," and stuff. And then, like, sadly, in season 5, 'cause this show lasted for 6 seasons. Sadly, in season 5, his mother was diagnosed with cancer, and so he was gone for like a lot of episodes. And then she sadly passed away, and he was just written out the complete like 6 seasons. But then by the 5th season, T and Tamara had like boyfriends on the show who were recurring characters, and then later became like main in like the 6th. They also had like another roommate. Two actually. They had two roommates in college, recurring friends. One was a black girl and one was a white girl. I still remember the white girl till this day. Her voice is just like so iconic and stuff. She's been in like Reno 911. She's been in Lucifer. It's the blonde one in Lucifer and stuff. So it's like her. And like, I think she was written very early out the show. But like the theme song of this show was so iconic. And like the first, what was it? First probably like 4 seasons. It was like the first two had a certain theme that was a white background and more cartoonish looking stuff, and then the second one had more kind of like vivid colors, purples, oranges, and something else like very like beautiful vivid colors, and they were all dressed like really fancy and stuff. No, that's the other one. But then yeah, the other one was more vivid colors, and they'll dress the way they normally do: orange, greens, brown, stuff, purple, stuff like that. And then in the fifth and sixth, the girls started singing it themselves, and then they would have like all these fancy looking clothes and everything. And then when Roger left, they added the two dudes at the very end and stuff. And the theme song is just so iconic. This show is so iconic, man. Like nine, you can't beat '90s comedy. Sure, modern day comedies are good too, like Parks and Rec. Ooh, excuse me. I'm so tired. It's so late. Blackish, Modern Family. I'm trying to think. American Housewives, some other shows. Like the modern stuff is like really good today, but like boy, nothing beats the '90s. The '90s had great comedy and stuff. I miss Laugh Track. Boy, I miss Laugh Track. Laugh Tracks are great because it's kind of like sometimes when you're not sure if you should laugh and then you hear a laugh track and you just start laughing. And then you know how it is. Somebody yawns, you yawn, and like a laugh track, somebody laughs, and then you automatically start laughing and stuff. And it's just like, man, whoo, I miss those things. And so, like, I'm trying to think if I'm leaving anything necessarily out of the show. For the most part, it remained relative the same from start A. But then in season, like I said, six, they went to college. Now, the show went from ABC to the WB. Now, what's weird is that Wikipedia says only the first two seasons were on ABC and the rest was on the WB. I don't remember that at all. I remember watching like, the other seasons. Now, the last season, I don't really remember watching because I didn't have cable at that time. But I do remember watching on a bunch of reruns. I think the reruns were on the WB channel or Disney channel because Disney channel was acquiring a lot of ABC like teen sitcoms like Boy Meets World and Sister Sister, and they had to like beep out all like the cuss words and stuff like that. And so I remember watching reruns. I think it was WB and stuff, but yeah, I don't remember all those other seasons being on the WB. I just remember it being like on ABC and stuff, but I don't know, whatever. Now, one thing that I just now learned, like literally just today, because I remember the girls had wavy curly hair in the first couple of seasons, but then towards the end they had long straight hair. And so, like, when I was trying to find out why the Roger dude like left the show, there was like a link talking about like why they changed their hair, and I clicked on it, and apparently the girls said that they loved wearing their naturally curly hair, wavy hair, because they experienced racism as they were growing up because they're biracial and everything. But then towards the middle of the show, the producers were kind of like, we want you to straighten your hair to have that beautiful like Hollywood look. So basically to appeal to white people and stuff, which made no sense because mostly black people just watch this show. But now there was talks of revival a couple of years back, all the way from like 2015 to 2019. However, no network was interested. So that's going to be that. And that really sucks because, Sister Sister was one of the greats. You know what I'm saying? And it's weird how you see like some of these other shows coming back, but like other good ones, like don't want to come back and stuff. They don't want, like Hollywood doesn't want to bring them back. And it's just kind of weird. Like if they could bring back Full House on Netflix, and basically just repeat the entire same formula with a sometimes controversial like main star, as in Candace Cameron Bure, because she's highly like opinionated and says some really jacked up stuff sometimes when she was on The View. Especially one thing that is, she praised somebody where there's conflict going on right now in another country, and it's kind of like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? So if they're willing to give her own show on Netflix, why couldn't they do the same on like, with Sister Sister? Yeah, sure. Tamara opened her big mouth when she was on The Real and pissed off a lot of people, especially in the LGBT community, which she had no business doing. But what I'm saying is, if they can bring Full House back with Candace and her big mouth, then they could do the same thing with Tamara and her big mouth. Even though both are extremely wrong, you know what I'm saying? But sadly, there will be a revival of Sister Sister. But let's talk about now this pilot episode. A very iconic pilot, a pilot that was reused for the Twitches movie that was on Disney Channel. I remember I watched the first one. I haven't watched the second one yet because I was very curious. I know when it came on, I just didn't care. That's kind of when I was phasing a little out of Disney Channel, and then I phased back in, like somewhere towards like the Jesse time and stuff. But I started phasing out. I really don't really watch a lot of their Disney Channel movies. Some are good, some are not. I like the ones better than Zoog Disney, especially the ones that was based off like real life stories. But like I don't know, them Disney Channel movies, man, they feel so alien and stuff. But like this like pilot is so iconic. Now it starts off with the girls watching the scary movie Friday the 13th, and Ray comes in. And so he's telling them, it's time for y'all to go to bed, watching these scary movies, this and that. He hugs Tamara, but then he doesn't hug Tia. It's very awkward. And so he just like kind of like pats her on the head. And so she's like, bye, Ray, and everything. And so then the girls, they always break the fourth wall and they narrate type stuff, right? And they telling us why it was so awkward, why he didn't want to hug them, because he's Tamara's dad, but not hers. And then they explain how they met. Now, this was a cool little like introduction into the show. However, I felt like they should have kept it out because when you see the stuff happening in the mall, which is hilarious, it kind of takes away from it because now we know what to expect. You know what I'm saying? And so like and so we see Tamara and her dad. They're at the mall. And she wants this like kind of like a sweater or a sweatshirt, something like that. It's purple. They used to wear the weirdest clothes on this show. My God. Very bright colors, very goofy shirts. Always wearing a hat with a flower in it and stuff. They're so known for that like iconic look. But then when they started getting older, they started to drop that look and stuff. But they used to have the weirdest fashion sense and stuff. So it's like this purple sweatshirt that she has on with these weird flowers and her hat, and she wants this shirt. So like she goes somewhere around like to try a shirt on in the dressing room, and then when she goes in one, Tia comes out, and Tia asks like the dude at who works in the store, do you have this color in blue, like a sweater? So he goes and gets it for her. She leaves and goes someplace else. Before Tamara went to a thing, she got hit on by a boy. So when Tia came out, she got hit on by that same boy, and she's just like, "Excuse me," and stuff. And so then, okay, like I said, Tia, she leaves, right? And then so there's a bunch of shenanigans going on back and forth with the twins and like changing places, not seeing one another, right? And it makes for a great setup. And so like the dude who works there, he's constantly talking back and forth to like both girls wanting like a different shirt but in the same color. One wants a sweater, the other one wants a sweatshirt. He's getting mad at this time. And so the girls, they go into like the mirror and they start like trying on like the hat and stuff, but the mirror is double-sided, so they don't see each other. And it's just so funny. You think, well, they're gonna bump into each other, but they never do. And then so when they're still talking to like the dude who works there, he gets so mad he thinks they're playing games with him. So he just is rude to both of them, and they go their like separate ways and don't see each other. Well, this is when the parents come in, Lisa and Ray. They talk to both their girls, and they're like, "Well, we didn't get what we want because the salesman was mean." So they both talk to the salesman at the same time. Ray is being like polite as he can, but is upset, and he gets a little stern. Lisa, on the other hand, just pops off the mouth and stuff. And so then they're like, so he's all like, "I'm gonna call security." The most iconic thing happened. Jackie, Lisa, she's all like, "I'll do it for you. Security, security." She just starts like saying loud as she can. So then Ray starts to grab Tia by mistake. He thinks it's Tamara. Like, we're gonna leave this store, and she's like, "Hey man, get your hand off me!" And then so Lisa's all, "You get your hand off my daughter." He's like, "No, this is my daughter." And then it happens. They meet. They can't believe it, and they say the most iconic thing in the world. They're like, "That girl has my face." One of the best introductions ever. See, that's how the show should have started instead of the awkward thing of Ray not like hugging Tia and stuff. But yeah, but whatever though, you know. And so after that, they hang out and they're bonding. They discover they do a lot of the same things. They discover like they like a lot of the same things. They was born on the same day, came from the same adoption agency, but they just got separated at birth. And so like they're having a great time just like getting to know one another. And so when Roger comes over, he's like a year younger than them. They're in the ninth grade, he's in eighth. And so he's in love with Tamara. And he brings her like flowers when he goes to see her. But they play a little game with him. Tia's like hiding behind the door. And so like um what is it? So when Tia like shows herself, he's like, "Oh my God, twins!" I'm like the luckiest guy in my life. So he splits the flowers in half to give it to him. But like he has to like go eventually because Tia and Tamara don't want him and everything. But then it's the funniest thing he says. He's all like, "Wow, twins! I'm living my dad's dream." Oh God. Oh my God. You'll never hear nothing like that nowadays. So they were at Tamara's house. Now they're at Lisa and them house. And see, Ray lives in not so much a mansion, but it looks like a mansion. A really nice house in a nice neighborhood. Lisa, on the other hand, lives in the inner city of Detroit in a very rough neighborhood. So while Ray is over there, he doesn't like it. He's kind of like very sophisticated, a little snooty, and very well educated, and Lisa is not. He drives a limo service. She works in like a convenience store and clothes and stuff, kind of like a boutique almost. And so like, um, Tia and Tamara at a park. He's worried. He's like very overprotective, and she can notice that. And then when she's all like, "Why don't the girls stay here the weekend?" And he makes her feel very uncomfortable, letting her know that hey, her neighborhood's not good enough for their child and stuff. But so at some point, Tia goes over to Tamara's place again. This causes Lisa and Ray not to like each other. They butt heads throughout the entire series, right? And I mean, you can understand why he's overprotective, because rough neighborhoods are rough, you know what I'm saying, and stuff. But so when Lisa goes over there, she is surprised at what a nice house he has, and but she's like she doesn't have a car; she has to catch the bus. And so she breaks his mailbox as soon as she goes over there on purpose and everything. And because he's all like, "But you don't have a car." And she's all like, "I was power walking my purse, not your mailbox over." Uh, so then, like, um, at some point in time, Lisa goes to talk to Tamia, not Tamia, Tia at like their apartment. And she does the whole routine of got bad news. So she has the cookies and the slice of pie. Um, well, the bad news is that she hasn't had a job in 2 weeks. Why? Because she popped off the mouth at her boss and everything. He fired her. Tia had no idea. But so they can't pay rent. But Lisa has a new job lined up in a completely different state. Tia is devastated. And so like she doesn't want to leave Tamara and all this other stuff. Um so her and Tamara come up with an idea. They're gonna run away together. So they pack their bags and they're at the bus station and they're gonna go to like another state and they're like, "Well, what are we gonna do for money and stuff?" She's like, "Well, we can't." Like, oh, I forgot to mention, Tia's the smart one, Tamara is not. Tamara is the wild child, and Tia is the goody goody two shoes. So Tamara's kind of like, well, we can get a job being waitresses, and we can work there and save up enough money and get like an apartment, and then when we get enough money, we can buy the restaurant. So anyways, Lisa and Ray come out the bus station, and Tamara's just kind of like, well, how did they find us? And Tia's like, well, I wrote my mom a note. And she's like, what? She's like, well, I was afraid she was gonna worry. So they hide behind the bench, and Ray and Lisa worried out their minds for their kids, wondering where they're at. So then they come up and they're all like, oh, we're sorry and everything. So then Lisa explains that they still have to move because she sold their apartment. Well, she had sold the apartment, she broke her lease and all of that stuff, so they had to find a new place. But Tamara and Tia got a great idea. They should live all together. Of course, Ray does not want to and everything, because he doesn't like Lisa and everything. But eventually, of course, that's what happens. They end up moving in together and stuff. And so, it's just hectic and crazy ever since. And that what makes for such great comedy in this show. It's Tia and Tamara getting into crazy stuff. Lisa and Ray had the budding friendship. At one point season they tried to date, and I really wanted those two to get together, but it just never happened. And then in the episode, the girl's going upstairs. Oh, by the way, Lisa's gonna have her own sewing place inside Ray's place and sell her own stuff. So the girls are walking upstairs, and Roger sneaks into the house with a box and walking up the steps, and they're all like, "Go home, Roger." Oh boy. Now there was one interesting episode towards the end of the series where the girls find their adoptive dad, and Tamara was very surprised to see what he was. He was white, because Tia and Tamara, they had no idea they was mixed. They just assumed they was black. And so it was a really hectic episode where Tamara wanted nothing to do with him, but eventually she accepted him for who he is and what she is and stuff like that. And that was great, because it was kind of you can't hate how you're born, you know what I'm saying? There's so many people out there who hate their own race and stuff, and which was a weird rumor I remember hearing a couple of years back. It was actually not a whole lot. It was actually probably last year or 2020, where a lot of people were saying that Tamara and Tia are kind of butting heads and stuff, and Tamara there was a weird rumor about her and her husband and them not liking black folks and other kind of weird stuff, but I can't find no evidence on that. It was probably just Twitter being crazy like it normally is. I hope not. However, I have noticed that those two haven't taken a picture with each other in years and stuff. So hey, who knows? You know what I'm saying? But then again, they were trying to have a revival in 2019. Well, that was 2019. This was 2020. So who knows how their relationship is now? But hopefully it is good, because they are twin sisters, for crying out loud. You know what I'm saying? It would suck if they was butting heads. And it's funny because their younger brother, what's his name? Taj Mowry, I think. He gets starred in the episode. And he's been in a lot of stuff. Kim Possible, Smart Guy, something else I can't think of. But he was also on Full House of all things, and stuff. So it's weird, because he don't really so much looks like them. He did when he was younger, but not no more since he's older and stuff. But yeah, Sister, one of the greats. I own it on DVD. They have the complete series in two different forms of DVDs. It's weird. There's one in a thin box and one in a giant box. It's best to get the one in the giant box, because then it won't scratch up the DVDs. The thin ones are in little sleeves. However, the big box was more expensive. I waited till it came down on price. This is on Hulu, I believe, so you can watch it there. Not sure about Netflix, but I know it is on Hulu. Happy Black History Month, everybody. I'll talk to you later. Bye.